Alright guys, so welcome back again to our channel. It's kind of raining today, so if you are hearing any rain in the background, do pardon that. So in today's video we're going to be talking about what it takes to write your first React code. Alright, now there are three concepts you will need to understand to start writing React code, and these concepts are basically: number one, components and JSX; number two, state and hooks; number three, props. Alright, and we'll be explaining these concepts with great simplicity in the video, and at the end of this video I'll be adding a bonus concept that is as important as the first three concepts, but is most times quite underrated. That's the bonus I'll be adding, but it's the main reason why many people do not still understand React after knowing the first three concepts. So going straight into it, number one is components and JSX. Now React apps are made up of components, and a component is simply a piece of UI that has its own logic and appearance. Now a component can be as small as a button or as large as an entire page. Now let me give you an illustration of this. Now if you come with me to my Figma, I'll be using YouTube as an example, as I already have some screenshots of the YouTube app. Alright, so what you can see here are different pieces of components. Alright, so this is like a wireframe. So this is when it's loading. So when it has loaded, we see what we call different pieces of components. Alright, so these are different pieces. Like you see this button that says all, this button that says Nollywood, Chinese television, this search icon, the bell icon, then you see the video over here, then this is a profile picture, the title. These are what we call components. And if you, let's say, click on this video now, you can see in the next place, if you click on this video and you're watching the video, you can see things like a subscribe button, like, comments, and many more of this. Now let's get back to our VS Code and write some code ourselves. Alright, so I have an already installed React application right here, that is over here. So this is by default a Vite project. These are the files that come with it. So I'm going to be clearing some things that are not needed. First and foremost, I want to remove all of this. Okay, let me save. Then the JSX, I want to remove this and all of this code, because this was a default template. Give me a minute. Remove this, save. Then remove this as well, save. Alright, so just to be frank, this is our app. It's currently playing. This is what it looks on the website. Let's go back to our VS Code and let's write something unique. Welcome to my app, and save. Then let's go back to the browser, and you can see it's showing right here, welcome to my app. So now a component is basically a UI that we say, oh, it can be as little as a button, it can be a form, it can be a dashboard, it can be anything. It's just a piece of UI that you plan to use later in your application. So to create a component, we can come over here and create a file, and let's say we want to create a button. We're going to name it button.jsx. Alright, so button.jsx. So if you notice, components by naming conventions always start with a capital letter. So always name your components with a capital letter in the beginning. So that's the convention for naming. So we want to create a component here. We're going to export it, a default, a function, and we're going to write the name of the component, which is button. Alright, we're going to return. Okay, and basically I want to create this, and I want to just say I want to create a button. Now what is in this button? I cannot say I am a button. Alright, so that's basically, we have a component now. Now if you go back to the browser, our component is not showing on our application because we have not imported the component into the application. So going back to our VS Code, we're going to go to our main file, which is this file app.jsx, and we're going to import our components. We're also going to put this this opening anchor brackets, and you're going to write the name. And one thing with VS Code, it helps you autocomplete. So before you write it, you can see the button, and if you click enter, that's from this file, it will import it. Then you basically close, and voila, when you save, you go to your this, and you can see the button has appeared. All right, so if I go back and I choose to duplicate this, so I duplicate this like 3 times, and I come back, and you can see I have 3 buttons. So that is basically the beauty of components. They are basically reusable UI. You can just reuse. So if some of your application, maybe you have already created like a header or a menu or a nav bar, rather than trying to recode everything in your application, you just go and call it, you just declare it, and it comes there. And if you don't say, oh, I want to change how my button is, maybe you have like maybe 50 pages of a particular component that is shared across your application, and you say you want to change one thing, you don't have to now go through all those pages one by one changing it. You just go to the main source, which is the component, and say I am a button 2, and you save, and you go back to your main app, and you can see it has been updated across. Now the next thing, like I said, is JSX. Now for JSX is the syntax for writing React code. It's basically a stricter and customized form of HTML. Alright, so if you know HTML, you won't have any issue understanding JSX. It's not that difficult. It's just HTML with strict rules. And what are these rules? Number 1, closing tags. In HTML, it's very okay to write this. Okay, let me remove this. It's very okay to write this, and this is quite fine. But in JSX, all tags must be closing. They must have a closing to it. As you can see, these components, they have a closing tag attached. So that's number 1 rule. If I remove it, you can see there's an error showing, which is invalid syntax. That's for the first rule. The second rule is JSX can only return one single tag. For example, you can see in this return statement, if I give it some indentation, you can see all I'm writing is inside this tag, open and closing tag. Now this could be a div, this could be a section. This is very fine. But let's say I try to return 2 tags, that is this and this. Let's say I want to return 2 things, and you can see errors are jumping all over the place, because the second rule is that you can only return a single tag. So if you have a lot of HTML code, or rather JSX code, and you want to return them, what you basically do, you can just stuff everything in an empty tag. It's that simple, in one empty tag, and everything would work. Alright, so that's for that. Now for the second point is state and hook. Now a state is simply the memory for your components. Let's say you have information in your components that you need to store and use later. You simply store this by using state. Now let's go back to our YouTube example. Now in this example, we can see state in action. Like I said, it is memory for your application. Now you can see this video has 2.3 million views. It was posted 10 days ago. It has over 30k likes. And if we check the channel, you can maybe see the number of subscribers. Like here you can see 2.83 1,000 comments. Now for each and every video has its own statistics. Each and every video has its own numbers. Some videos have 10 views, some videos have 10 million views. Some channels have 100 subscribers while other channels have 1,000,000 subscribers. How do you store this information? This is just by design, it's a single page, but it's dynamic. It's different based on the link you are currently on. So if you visit this page and let's say on someone's channel, these components are all, static. But what gives dynamic nature to your components is state. Where you now say, okay, this is the name of the video, this is the headline, this is the title. So everybody's title is different, and that is where state comes in. Now, to apply the concept of state into your React app, you need what we call hooks. Now, hooks are basically inbuilt functions in React that allow you to store and edit information. And one of the most common and used hooks is the useState hook. And as the name suggests, this hook allows you to store and use a state. Now, let us take this into practicality by going back to our VS Code. Now, VS Code is so good, it helps you with auto-completion. Now, let's say I want to bring a state here. I can just, write this. I just want to write something first. If you don't understand, don't worry, I'll explain the statement. Use state, and I can import it. All right. So this is basically my useState statement. Now, useState is a hook that has two parts. Number one, it gives you a state variable, which is the name here, and it gives you a setter function, which basically updates the state variable. Now, this could be anything. You can say cause something. Let's say this set something. This is just basically the convention of using useState. So it follows a convention of something, which is the name of your variable, then set of that something. So you could say username, set username is true, set is true, whatever you want to use, but this is just a convention of it. So you use it in this format and basically you have that. So let's use this name in our application. Let's say I want to greet my users and I want to say hi name. Now great thing about JSX is that you can do what they call escape into JavaScript, whereby in this code here I can basically bring in JavaScript. So this are actually JavaScript code you are seeing above here. So to bring this in, you just basically create curly brackets and write the variable name. All right, so I'm going to remove this and I want to say gym. Now if I save this, now this error is actually saying I'm not using the variable. That's what this error is showing me, that is assigned but never used. So if I use it later, this error will clear. So coming back here, okay, let's go to our app and you can see hi gym. Hi gym. Now to set this state, if I would like to change this name, let's say I have a counter. This would make more sense if I use a counter, or let's say count, set count, and I want to initialize it at 0. And I have a button that basically has a count. That's the variable count clicked times. Let's see. Clicked 0 times. Okay, so we have clicked count times. All right. So we want to, put an event handler here, and we're gonna say what this event would do. Okay, we're gonna set count to count plus plus or plus one. Okay, count plus one. So whenever we click on this is going to count. So let's see. Alright, so I have our counts. So as you can see, as I click it, it's increasing, and you can see the numbers are being saved. So this for states. So now we are going to talk about props. So basically, now like the name suggests, prop is basically short for properties, and in the real world we give properties to things to differentiate them. Let's say you had a car would have a property of a color, a model, a brand. Let's say you have two cars, one car is red, one car is black. You say, oh, the one that is red is a Mercedes, it's from the brand Mercedes. Maybe the one that is black is a Corolla, the model is a Corolla, and it's from the brand Toyota. So basically these are things you give to the same object to basically differentiate them. For a human, let's say you have a person, you can have a property like name, age, height, nationality, and different things to differentiate people. So the same way you can also have properties for your UI. In this case we call them props. Let's say these buttons now that we have here, these three buttons, we have three buttons, but at the same time we might say I want these buttons to have different colors. Let's say this is red, this is blue, and this is green. So if we come over here, we can add a prop to our component and say color. Alright, so this is color. So we're going to add it into here, and we're going to add a style and say color and have color. So basically this is CSS, inline CSS. So we're going to have color. Let me just, so we'll differentiate this btn color, because color is also a CSS declaration. So we save and we come over here and we basically add that and say btn color, and here we can say red, btn color, blue, green, and we save. And if we go to our site, you can see this is red, this is blue, this is green. I actually wanted the background, not just the text, so I'm coming. This should be background color, not color. Let's say background color. This should be background color. Then we'll want to have what else? Color as white. Want to have color as white. Alright, so that's that. So you can see red, blue, green. Now the same components, but you can see that when the props are added, now we can differentiate the components by saying, oh, this is a red color, this is a blue color, this is a green color. In the same way, you can also add states. You can pass states into a component. Let's say this state we have here of 12, 13, we want to pass it into these buttons. We are going to come back here. I'm going to say count. Alright, we're going to have count, and we're going to say I am button count. Alright, so we're going to come here and we're going to say count. We're going to pass the variable of the state into here, or let me just name this so we don't have, because it's good to name things that they don't look confusing. let's say button count. Let me name this button count and not just count, so we can differentiate it between the actual count variable. Okay, so just gonna copy and paste, then save. Then if you go here, you can see the numbers are here. So if I increase, you can see they're also increasing. By me clicking here, these numbers are increasing. And these are the basic concepts of React. So the first thing we spoke about were components and JSX. This is the first thing you must understand. The second thing is state and hooks. Then the last thing is props. Now, coming to the end of this video, I promised I was going to share a bonus concept which also affects people from understanding React code, and that is basically ES6. Now, if this is your first time hearing about ES6, this is for you actually. Now, ES6 is basically what we call new JavaScript. It's a version of JavaScript that was released in 2015. Most programming languages, they are updated every year and new features are brought. So the features of JavaScript that were pushed in 2015 were very new and retransformed the way JavaScript is written. So for most people learning programming, what most times you learn is what we call old JavaScript. Like, you know, how you write functions, how you declare variables, different other ways of doing things. And you now realize that like before then you use var, you want to declare the variable like var, you use var, but now with ES6 we have let and cost. Then we have arrow functions, a different way of writing functions. Like if you notice, this is a function, this is a function, this is an arrow function. So it's a way of writing function, and it's the syntax, it's part of ES6. This is a concept in ES6 called it's called destructuring, when you have an array and you basically destructure them into two other variables. These are ES6 concepts, and many more. So some things that are being written here are not React concepts. They are basic JavaScript concepts, but JavaScript that is new. And modern frameworks are all written in modern JavaScript, which includes ES6. If you'd like me to create a video about that, you can put in the comment section. If you'd like to know more about ES6 and the different concepts behind them, and I would basically gladly explain that and that. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like the video, and if you wish to see more content like this, do subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so you'll be notified whenever I drop new content. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.